Welcome to Black Man's Corner. I'm Joey, and today our topic is Chris, Will, and Jada starring in Class Cluelessness at the Academy. Once upon a time, a black boy from Brooklyn and a black boy from Philadelphia were crew. And then it happened. Oops. Excuse the typo. And then shit happened. But before I unpack the action that gave traction to varying factions, what so many are calling the slap, seen as well as felt by millions, I need you to consider a few things. What prevented Jada from telling Will, I got this, so sit your laughing at his low creativity joke ass down and watch how I handle mine? Thereafter, Jada ascends to the stage and bitch slaps Chris for what she deemed a personal affront. After all, not only is the year 2022 a time when women handle their own, on top of March being Women's History Month, though Will could have approached Chris and in an inaudible whisper informed him that he would dislocate his knee deep in Chris's natural seat cushion if he ever went there again about Jada. Eliminating the violence, Will could have turned to the audience and declared, the difference between you and I is Chris just made me look good by me using my reason instead of succumbing to my passion. While that may be too Socratic for some of you, Will could have benefited from a different philosophy. Instead, the bitch slap she would inflict upon him would traditionally have Chris seen as the bitch for receiving it without physically responding back. Or it could be construed as a bitch slap by a woman with no qualms about gender conformity. After all, the term bitch is double entendre, usually assigned to women deemed as having too much moxie, too much of a voice, while also aimed at men considered lacking in machismo. However, instead, she merely glimpses at her partner in time, now partner in crime, after he rises like Ja Morant, only to do her evil bidding, further exacerbating the rumors that Will may star in a sequel to Hitch called, wait for it, Snitch, if Will ever admits what Jada may have said under her breath, something like, nigga, if you don't handle this situation now, one of my entanglements will be handling me later. The sequel could be named Ditch for the hole Will now has to dig himself out of. The sequel could be named Rich because him being so willing to do Jada's bidding at least allows him to survive possibly being unemployable. The sequel could be named Witch, the story of an affable player who chooses to settle down with a woman that ultimately places a spell on his clueless ass, culminating in a misguided effort to defend her honor while permanently damaging his own. Oh, and while on the subject of cluelessness, it wasn't only the Smiths who appeared to be without a clue. In the book, The Nigger in You by J.W. Wiley, Chris Rock is taken to task for his 1999 comedy album, Bigger and Blacker, wherein he declared he loved black people, but hated niggers. In a chapter titled, Of Being Cool, Chris Rock and Class Cluelessness, Dr. Wiley addresses whether Chris was espousing self-awareness or self-hatred. While he may see himself as self-aware, the type of black that doesn't intersect with those he defined as niggers, his insensitive comments towards Jada Pinkett Smith detracted from his cool. Whether he knew Jada was battling alopecia or not, commenting on a woman's head, is perilously close to asking a larger woman who appears to be pregnant, "When is the baby due?" No, 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 no. You just don't do that. Duh. Or perhaps it was more a case of self-hatred on Rock's part. Knowing a black man will always be one misstep from being seen or framed as a nigger, perhaps he was attempting to prevent far too many minds from converging identities that benefited him, until it ceased to do so. After all, every black person in this world must be prepared for that insult to be hurled at them eventually. If it isn't a hateful KKK member hurling racist invectives at you, it may be a disgruntled student, a road rager, an implicitly biased cop, or someone in your crew just saying hello. "What's up, my nigga?" Hell, even a beetle had something to say about it. Woman is a nigger of the world. Rock's insensitive G.I. Jane remark towards Jada, unremarkably, as well as ironically, had him fitting his own comedic description of a nigger. One only trying to keep it real, but whose real or reality was he actually projecting, inadequately protecting, inconsiderately reflecting. Jada was real enough in publicly displaying her alopecia and unhesitatingly signaling Will to forego further perpetuating his charm and do Chris psychological, if not physical, harm. Chris revealed his realness by somehow believing he literally could verbally disparage a woman under the guise of wittiness, but it only revealed his shittiness. Dave Chappelle's skit, "When Keeping It Real Goes Wrong," frames this exceptionally well. Witnessing Rock's class cluelessness was disappointing. Somehow he must have convinced himself that anything politically incorrect he says to someone will be sorted out by his handlers, if not considered cutting-edge insight. After all, he is Chris Rock, comedian extraordinaire, actor, and when all is said and done, everybody loves Chris, right? Oops, my bad. Perhaps not. Will's class cluelessness reveals itself similarly, albeit with differing variables. Will knew which Rock to slap. He definitely wouldn't have slapped Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Shaq, or Mike Tyson for obvious reasons. He also wouldn't have slapped Jerry Seinfeld, Jim Carrey, or any white comedian. No, because they would have immediately arrested his angry black man ass. Oddly enough, the Academy apparently is cool with black-on-black crime being perpetuated for an international audience to see, with its own class cluelessness on display as well as improved ratings. It isn't hard to imagine Jada or any woman getting away with slapping Chris for an improper statement interpreted as public ridicule. Immediately the default would be, he must have done something to her. Like what Chris Cooper did to Amy Cooper, bird watching while black? Perhaps you can imagine the Academy looking the other way if and when a provoked white man slapped Chris. But if Chris was a woman, a male assailant would have been tackled on stage before his hand left a female Chris's face. A white woman slapping a black woman is the one scenario I struggle with imagining consequences for. Though if she is stupid enough to slap Serena Williams, she's asking for an ass whipping. As I end this video, I wonder if Will just happened to watch the infamous slap in The Godfather, or the slap between Hallie and Eddie in Boomerang, or ever watch Batman slap Robin for impertinence, or Batman slap Trump for being an idiot when not acting ignorant. Or knowing how historically music has played a significant role in various instances of societal abuse, like Helter Skelter for Manson, AC/DC's The Night Prowler for Richard Ramirez, who was the Night Stalker? I'm wondering if Will was listening to rap artist Ludacris's song Slap on his way to the Academy. In the song, Ludacris says he woke up feeling like slapping a nigga today. Wow. Well, perhaps Will, willingly, if not wittingly, sought a higher level of prestige with infamy for him being an acceptable dimension of fame. Who knew he would ironically reflect one of his best film's titles? I Am Legend. Yes, you are Mr. Smith. Coincidentally, legend is often defined as myth, accentuated with magic, and often remembered as something tragic. That's it for Black Man's Corner today. As always, thoroughly appreciated your visit. Hope I gave you some food for thought. Please consider liking the video and subscribing. And until the next time, power to the people.